Hello everyone, and once again this is CMDR Trium. We are playing for one final hour tonight. And this of course is the FNS Quantica. It's a Python class fighter trader vessel in the world of Elite, and we are in pursuit of a new ship this evening, trying to earn enough money to afford the purchase of a new freight transport craft that will have some defenses. Effectively, a different class of fighter trader is the ultimate goal, but with more cargo carrying capacity. And therefore it will have access to the Beyond Update missions, which of course offer a lot more gross tonnage and a lot more financial rewards, which is what we're after. So let's begin by getting in touch with one of our wingmen.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Sorry I'm a bit later than I thought I would be. There was a episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. turned, which was recorded, so I had to watch that. They're coming up on the end of the season, you understand, so of course I'm spellbound by sci-fi and all sorts of other wonderful things of that nature.
I just found a mission here. 6 million credits.
For what?
To supply 718 units of performance enhancers.
Oh, good for you. Do you have 718 cargo slots?
No.
No. I suppose you could do it in two missions, or do you need another freighter?
It'd take 3 or 4 with my Python that I'm in right now.
How much cargo do you need? How much?
I haven't accepted the mission. Performance enhancers are on the expensive side, so you're not going to make a lot of money off that one.
Oh, really?
And they're kind of a pain to find, too.
Well, I'm sure they're around somewhere. I've seen them before.
But, yeah, it's one of the better options, considering most missions I see are for 1.5 million. You gotta run 6,000 tons of product. It's like, shit. It'd take you a fucking week to do that with a wing full with 4 people in it. Well, I could go. Actually, before I left to come here and drop this load of stuff off, I was tempted to take a bunch of people, or take a group of 7 people on some long vacation sightseeing tour for about 4.5 million credits. Been a total trip of probably about 1,000 light years, which I already did that about once today already, going to 4 different engineers.
Well, what have I got here? I have a couple more of these planet-hopping scan job missions, one of which is worth 3 million credits, so I'll be doing that one.
Deliver 60 units of basic medicines. I think I can handle that one for 400,000.
Oh, this one's in the Pegasi sector, PX Papa X-Ray Tango Bravo 35 system. 3.032 million credits. I'm not sure how much that is in American dollars, but it sounds pretty considerable.
Well, I think a Canadian dollar is worth about 90 cents.
No, it's way down, actually. It's around 70 cents again.
Is it that low?
Traditionally, the Canadian dollar is about worth between 75 and 80 cents American.
Is it that much? I thought it was about a little more. But
It was at parity for a while. For the first time in my life, a few years ago, it hit parity with the American dollar and actually went up to $1.25 US at one point. And no one knew what the hell was going on because we deal a lot with exports to the United States, right?
yeah.
A good portion of our, well, of course, as you know, Canada and the U.S. trade quite a bit. So, you know, it changes the economy too fast to have currency fluctuation like that. If the Canadian dollar is $1.25, it may sound wonderful, but it really isn't. It means our exports to the United States are suddenly way more expensive, and American buyers suddenly start shopping around again, looking for better deals because the Canadian product is not as cheap as it used to be. Your dollar is not going anywhere near as far; it's going 50% less far. So why the hell would you want to buy from some place like Canada where it's so expensive? But it corrected itself out in the end. The currency traders properly valued the dollar. It sank below 90 cents about a year ago, I think, and it went back to 80 cents US or so. And I think recently I saw a number flash up saying 76.25 cents. So that's a healthy number for the Canadian economy.
Oh, gotta go Escana again.
I just wish the United States, when it came to buying technology personnel, there are huge restrictions across the border. Like if I want to work in the States, do you have any idea the hoops I have to jump through? Like, it's insane. It's not so bad now. I have more than 20 years of demonstrable experience in my field. So I would get a TN1 visa and it would just be, I'd just be run across the border. Except for the fact I have a criminal possession record. And now the Americans use that against me. Plus I was denied very early in my career commercial access to the U.S. market on the basis I was trying to cross without a degree in a related program. So that counts against me as well. And so...
Don't worry, I'm not allowed to go to Canada.
Why?
Because I'm a criminal.
What did you... I never asked you, what did you do? Is it just a drug possession thing, or... It doesn't seem likely in your case. Yeah, I mean, I think that the border really between the two countries has become way too strict, and that if you're a serial violent offender, you should probably have some reasonable restrictions placed on you, and the nation state might be justified in taking that attitude, you know, where no, thanks but no thanks. But
Canada pretty much doesn't want to allow anyone from the United States into Canada if they've got any kind of a felony on their record.
Yeah, it's the same with the Americans, but I'm wondering if we can't negotiate a different deal where you get, you know, if you're guilty of an assault charge or something, you get 3 strikes or out, or something of this nature that would be more reflective of the attitudes of both countries instead of, oh, we're never going to forget and we'll never forgive. Like, even in the U.S., you get a pardon, right? Doesn't mean anything. What's that?
No, I'm stuck with it for life.
Why? I thought you get pardons in the States.
If you apply for one and go through the hoops and hassles and headaches, once you're convicted of a felony, it's stuck with you for life, except for a couple of rare instances.
Well, that's dumb. People change over the course of their life. It used to be in Canada. In Canada, you used to be able to apply for a pardon. And then the Conservative government got elected a few years ago, and they did away with the pardon system and replaced it with something called a record suspension, which is not the same thing. First of all, government agencies have still got access to your criminal record, even if you have this record suspension. Whereas before with the pardon, You were pardoned, right? You applied for it and said, look, I'd like another chance. And they said, okay, fine. We'll give you a pardon. And you're on probation. And eventually, you know, time passes, and if you have no further involvements with the law, then you're good, right? They drop your record is expunged. Now, it's more like it is in the States, which I don't agree with. I think that most Canadians think, and they're of the wrong view in this, that when you apply, you just apply for a pardon and it's all like good, so you can get away with, you know, a drug possession charge or something, and it's all erased. Drug possession itself isn't really a crime, so it shouldn't be against the law in the first place. It's an abuse of law, according to my understanding of the law, which granted is still the result of a pre-law program, but nonetheless, I did quite a bit of research on the subject in my university days. Crimes are there to protect the public, primarily from people who cause the public a certain threat of harm. Someone possessing a drug in and of itself doesn't necessarily endanger the public, therefore it's not really a crime. A crime would be like you assault someone, or you hurt them, or you break their property, or you set fire to something, or you endanger other people, or something tangible of that nature. And I just don't get it. I really don't. But anyway, yeah, I can't go to the States. I don't think it's forever. I can apply to Homeland, I'm told. Now that 5 years has passed, I can apply to Homeland. And as long as I pay the American government $625, and this is what rock stars, you know, who are loaded full of drug possession charges, this is usually what they use to get across the border. They take their money and they go and they pay the right people the right amount of money, and they get to do concerts still in the States despite their litany of drug charges.
Yep.
Right? So, if I'm willing to do the same thing, I can also take advantage of that. And I'm sure there's a similar program for you. If you really want to visit Canada, I'm sure you could get you probably have to make some sort of application to Foreign Affairs or something, and they would let you pass. Because I know that Americans who had drug charges in the past have played concerts here without any difficulty. In fact, there was a bit of a scandal one year when one of the rap stars from the United States, I can't remember the name of the one, was scheduled to play in Toronto, and he got stopped at the border on this exact technicality. And at first he wasn't allowed in, and then in the end he was. But it was exactly the same situation. I understand the United States also now, if you're a drunk driver, up to about 5 years ago, you could be guilty of killing someone in a car accident while you were intoxicated and still cross into the United States, no questions asked. That changed back in 2011, I think it was, or 2012 maybe. And then drunk drivers now now can't enter the United States.
Yeah, drinking and driving charges are getting to be some pretty serious problems around here.
Are they?
Yeah, if drinking and driving is a big no-no.
Oh, it's huge. You know what? And here's another story. I used to be a security guard back before I started my 3rd and 4th years of university. I took a year off to work, to earn money, and then I went back and finished my degree. And at the time, I was doing security. One of my fellow guards was being married, or had just announced plans to be married, so we went to a strip bar, of course. We got loaded, and then he suddenly remembered he had to be back at work that day. So I was the guy with the car. They all ganged up on me and convinced me to drive this stupid car. And I was driving super slow. I don't think I was really endangering anyone, but the cops, of course, saw us pull out of the strip club, tanked to the gills. They pulled us over. You understand you're pissed, right? Like you're drunk as hell. You shouldn't be driving a car. And I go, yep. And he says, well, what were you doing? What was so important? And I explained to him we were security guards working at the downtown mall in Winnipeg, which has dealings with the police on a day-to-day basis. So the cops took one look at each other. They literally looked at each other in the car. I was pretty drunk, but I remember this. Clear as a bell. And they looked at each other and they said, well, tell you what, we'll let you off this once. You're going to take the car, you're going to turn the corner, you're going to park 20 meters up that street over there. And then you're going to go have a bite to eat. You're going to calm down, you know, get some food in your gut or whatever. Wait an hour. That car had better not move. And we'll be checking. And they let us off. That would not happen today. But it shouldn't have happened then either. I should have been charged right then, right there, but I got away with it.
Yeah. Well, there's times you get lucky.
Well, it wasn't luck. The police actually said, by the way, pass this on to your boss, Mr. Menzies, who runs the security company I work for. And they said they'd be making a report. They never did make that report, so that there was a bit of a favor there. At least not as far as I know. I didn't tell Mr.
They could have been just a little white lie to intimidate you into behaving the rest of the night too.
Yeah, well, we didn't. The rest of us didn't have to work that night, but this one guy did, and I was like, "What the hell were we thinking anyway?" Like, these people I was with, they were from my hometown, and they were all a bunch of. They were good people, I guess, in their heart, but they would do stupid shit all the time. You know, they didn't really. They didn't really think before they acted completely clearly. So it was a typical kind of, if you'll pardon the expression, redneck country mistake that no urban dweller at that point in time would have made, and it's something that I was doing because it was a bunch of pals from my hometown. And I didn't repeat that mistake ever again. But I really shouldn't have gotten away with it, and I'm just thanking my lucky stars I did. I didn't have a driving while intoxicated incident ever again after that.
I've just gotten to the point that I go buy my booze, I sit at home and drink, get drunk, and be stupid. Or if I go out, I usually walk. Guys around here don't really give a shit if you're walking home stupid drunk.
No.
If you go near a car, though, they get all butt sore.
No, there's been too many people killed in stupid fucking bullshit mistakes over.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a responsible thing that people are trying to do. I mean, it's not the only thing people should be worried about in life, no, but it's one thing that they are worried about. So I wouldn't discourage them too much. They might get into their head not to be worried about anything after a while otherwise. It still kind of bugs me though, like, if I'd been those police officers, I would never have let myself get off like that lightly. Never. At the time, the punishments were also less severe in Canada for that type of behavior, so I wouldn't have been without a license forever. Nowadays, you would be without a license forever if you got caught. It could be 10 or 20 years before you'd find yourself allowed to drive a car ever again.
An uncle of mine, he is an over-the-road truck driver. He got himself a DUI. He lost his CDL and driver's license for 1 year. Needless to say, that's a big hassle.
It is.
I don't know what or why, but he went and got himself another one while he was sitting out that time, and he ended up losing his CDL license, or lost his CDL permanently, and then it'd be a few years before he could get a driver's license back.
Holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, he didn't take that too well, and he hung himself.
Oh, no. Well, it's a little bit more important in the country where everything's far away, right? In a city, it might have been easier for him just to move to a city like Minneapolis or something.
Alright.
Then he could at least take...
The biggest thing with him was he dropped out of school. He's like a 7th or 8th grader or something like that. So he had no high school education. He's a high school dropout.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver. I mean, he had no skill set other than driving semis.
In a country without a welfare system, or largely without one. At least that's the impression I have. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is no real welfare, social safety net there, is there? If you're unemployed, you're kind of screwed.
Yes and no. You get a lot of freeloaders in the system that the people who legitimately need the help can't get it. So the people who are just too fucking lazy to go get a job get everything handed to them.
How can that be true? Like, honestly, I still have trouble understanding. Like, what do you do with your day if you're not working? Like, I understand.
Your ass at home, watch TV, and play Facebook games on your phone.
I've done that. It's not fulfilling at all. Like, after a certain point, like, I'm being driven like a cat up the wall looking for work. My days are spent full time looking for work, doing nothing but filling out grids for the federal government and, you know, whatever. So it is work, actually. It's just work I'm not paid for. But, I mean, I'm kept very busy during the day with this stuff. Now, luckily, I have a second income, but if I didn't have that, and if I hadn't saved up the money that I had saved up for exactly this kind of scenario, which does confront computer consultants sometimes, you know, I'd be richly screwed.
No.
But, I mean, I have prepared for this to some degree. I'm running out of preparedness means available to me, but to some degree I was ready for this, and it did help a great deal. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I'm about to get employed again, so I don't think it's going to work out to be too terrible, but it was terrible enough. I mean, losing a consulting job in a month like October, when you're confronted with Christmas in November, December, and January, effectively, as far as the government of Canada is concerned. No one hires during those months. It just doesn't happen. There's barely any activity in February and March, although there is some, and I've been taking full advantage. April is the big month, and my biggest fear is that April would pass and that I'd somehow still find myself unemployed. It's a nightmare scenario that keeps me up at night. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, rest assured you won't see me online here too much anymore.
Won't be able to afford to play online?
No, I'll probably, like, unfortunately, I'm a computer programmer. I do need the internet. It's not the disconnectedness. I'll pay for that service, but I'll be cutting back on virtually everything, looking for new and innovative ways to. I'll be doing more than just, you know, filing applications. In fact, I've already started creating a database application for hiring consultants so that at least I could entice the interest of one or two of the local consulting firms that maybe haven't taken my application forward as seriously as they have, and I probably will release it, you know, within the next 30 days. So I've already got a contingency already at work for even that scenario. I'm looking ahead. And if not, well, I've got, an application that will help me build resumes dynamically, tailored for individual government contracts the next time that I find myself out of a contract or in need of applying for a new one, because no contract that I work at ever lasts forever. Finding one to go more than 3 months right now is very difficult because the government has stopped hiring for people. Without financial justification, they have trouble getting money and funding for someone to actually be in the government for longer than 3 months at a time. It used to be that if you got hired by the government, you were virtually guaranteed to be there for 6 months, at least. But now it's half that. And I don't know why that is, but I've basically given up on consulting in this market with this particular procurement apparatus. And I'm looking at just returning to private sector completely. Working like a regular permanent job again. But that's not as easy as it sounds either, because the gig economy, as it's called, is taking root in a lot of the urban centers in both the United States and Canada. So you have to be able to work online, from home, from wherever, doing odd jobs here and there. And that becomes your whole life, really. You're constantly looking for new and other contracts. And if you're good at it, yes, it can be as stable as regular employment. It has been for me in the past, but it isn't at the moment. I guess I could go on CodeMentor or freelancer.com, and start charging people for money for my services as a mentor and as a for-hire single-purpose developer if I wanted to. But I'm in competition with people from India whose billable rates are for some reason lower, even though they're just as skilled as I am. So that hasn't necessarily been as lucrative in the past couple of years, although I think it's getting better. Invariably what happens is that type of approach of hiring resources in poorer countries does work for a little while, and then the people in the poorer countries realize, gee, my billable rates are too low. I can actually get away with charging more money for my services because they're in demand. This is what happened with Mexico. I visited Mexico back in late 1990s. When I visited there, if you went off the resort, you experienced a country that was largely impoverished. Mexico isn't quite so impoverished as it was back then. The NAFTA agreement has done better for the Mexican economy. In fact, it's brought it really into very, very close contention to be a first world economy. But there's still complaints, about, Mexican labor being charging less than American labor. But the Mexicans argue back, of course, that they do a lot of the jobs that American companies or American people, frankly, don't want to do themselves. I think it's something more fundamental. I think it's probably a combination of that. That's part of it, yes, but it's not the whole story. Another part of the story is that the American education system right now, like if you look at the technology front, my original point was that the U.S. doesn't let people work in Canada, and doesn't let Canadians as easily work in the United States. It's one of the things that stopped me from working at Microsoft, an American company. And the reason Microsoft is bringing people in from overseas so often to work in the United States, they've tapped the American market. There are no other programmers. Programmers in the United States really aren't out of work. Why? Because all the people who can code are coding already. For these American companies to be competitive, they need personnel from outside the United States, because the number of qualified Americans has actually declined to such a low level that they can't find everyone that they need to do the jobs. And do them to a satisfactory level. Microsoft is extremely demanding, but if you read Bill Gates' book, The Road Ahead, he talks about how demanding Microsoft culture is, and he's not wrong. He ran Microsoft for a good number of years. my understanding from the staff there was that under Steve Ballmer, who was the successor to Bill Gates, it got even more so. Their current...
I'm gonna get interdicted here shortly.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
You're in battle. Enjoy.
$20 tons of cargo, I don't think so.
And I should hasten to add, I don't think hiring Canadians is necessarily a solution to the United States' problems with with software. It's just one of many countries out there that could help out.
Yeah, of course I'm running no shield.
Of course. Why don't you take your shields to an engineer and have them... Oh, can you have your shields enhanced?
Yeah.
Well, then do
What
that.
do you think I was doing with my Eagle today?
I know.
I just forgot to put shields back in the ship before I took off.
Oh. Well, you have to do that. That's one of the things I'm going to do as soon as I can, is try to boost my Type 9 shields and defenses to the maximum, because I want the cargo space and I want the ability to defend that mothership in case it falls under attack. One thing I learned from running a Type 6 freighter was that you don't want to spend light on the skills of the person who flies your mothership. You want the best possible person you can find. Because they're going to have to try to evade. They're going to have to try to keep your mothership around long enough for you to take your fighter and blast the hell out of whatever is attacking you. Starport. Launching.
Yeah, my parked in Asylum.
Holy crap, did someone turn on the light at Ochre Force Station? These lights are really bright. I don't think I turned the brightness up. It's like a strobe is turned on permanently.
Landing gear retracted.
I'm seeing a lot of Imperial cutters around here today.
Huh.
You wouldn't think you'd be seeing cutters.
No, they are the cheapest of the Imperial Navy vessels. Unless I'm thinking of the Clipper. It's one of the two, the Clipper or the Cutter.
The cutter is the Imperial equivalent to the Corvette.
Oh, really?
It's the big ship.
What the hell is going on here? Oh, hang on. Somehow my weapon's activated. I just put them away.
Frameshift drive charging.
Computer. What's going on with your mothership? I'm detecting that you have no shields and your hull's at 80%.
I got interdicted.
Drive charging.
By what?
I don't know, he shot at me as I was outrunning him.
Oh, you didn't launch your fighter after him?
I'm in my Python.
Oh.
4, 3, 2.
I don't even have this outfitted full of guns. I got a couple open spots.
Oh.
I'm gonna put the shields back on this. It'll be a 6A shields. That's 13 million, so I need to build up a little bit of money so I can afford to put shields on it. Still be able to afford an insurance payment if need be.
No new astronomical objects, okay. And we have planet A3. Behind us. Laying the course. Course laid in.
I'm now friendly status to Tangora Citizens Forum. Wait, I was. Never mind.
I think I'm cordial with Tangaroa's main faction. That's about it. 33% now with the Alliance. Still holding at 100% at Surf. Ready to go to Master anytime I find a mission worthy of me. We are 1,000 light seconds away from our target planet. 30 seconds away from orbit.
120 units of natural fabric.
Oh.
Ring. I was just there. Guess I'm going back. Planetary scan job in Boulder for 940,000 credits. I'll add that to my list. $7.5 million credits to deliver 7,855 units of grain. That's not worth it when it's going to take you 15 trips to at least 15, that'd be about 20 trips. $7.5 million for 20 trips, that ain't worth it. Make money on little jobs back and forth.
Yeah, it's a matter of how much money you can make, how quickly, and sometimes a shorter trip is the more economic route. We have found our building. 10,000 kilometers and closing. $5,000 kilometers and closing. Entering orbit. $3,000 kilometers and closing.
Orbital flight engaged.
2,000. We are in orbit.
8.2 million to deliver 7,855 units of coffee.
Oh, careful. People throw coffee at you if they don't like it, so...
Well, that's what we did. That's what we did with all that tea that the British sent us years ago.
Yeah, but that was because it was...
Tea party. We dumped it in the bay.
And it's never been as clean as since.
If the British weren't trying to poison us with their nasty tea or whatever.
I think it was more the nasty taxes that really set off the people.
That's why coffee is very popular and common in the United States to this day.
Well, that and you had a king that was 3,000 kilometers across an ocean trying to govern a colony that had been established for long enough that it was quite capable of governing itself.
Yep.
And George was being a little bit unreasonable about the whole thing. Yeah,
Deliver 7,000 units of stuff for about 5 million credits. That is not cost effective, even if you're doing it as a wing.
No, yeah, it is kind of dumb.
Because because the 5 million gets broke up 4 different ways. That's $1 million apiece, and each person had to make 3 runs out of that full four-man group.
If they're flying Pythons.
Yeah, well, yeah. Right now, my Type 10 will carry 400 tons of shit, and it's just because that's the way it's set up. It's still for mining.
Yeah, but you could fill it full of cargo. I mean, there's nothing saying you can't.
I could. I just have to move everything around. Then I almost 500 tons, or just shy of it.
Hang on, I'm soaring here along at 200 meters above the planet's ever enlarging surface. Landing gear extended.
I'll be back. I gotta find a pisser.
Okay. Oh, here we are.
Warning, you have entered a trespass zone. Incoming message. Trespass zone cleared. Bounty incurred. Landing gear retracted. Cargo scoop retracted.
Now it's time to go to asylum.
I got 3 friendlies on my tail.
They are friendly though, right?
Well, no, I see I entered a trespass zone, and they appeared suddenly when I encroached on the trespass zone and successfully scanned the facility I was assigned to scan, so they're probably not as friendly anymore. They just appear green on the scope, because they're technically allied with me. However, they're outside of scanning range, and they don't seem able to keep up with me, so they'll probably stay relatively green. They might find me if they find me away from this planet, but I don't think they'll be shooting at me as long as I'm not here. When they arrive.
Flight assist off.
Let's do a quick spin around here and scan them before they get a chance to scan me. So my scan range is a little farther. The System Authority vessel, as predicted, 7.2 kilometers and falling away. They're all Viper class.
Type 9 heavy.
We are 40 kilometers from the target, now turning back to original course. We are falling from 2 kilometers slowly at this point. 1 bar. Now under 2 kilometers from a hard deck.
Flight assist on.
2 of them have fallen back. 1 vessel remains. It is 8.1 kilometers. It is turning toward us. 10 kilometers. 11.5. 0.9. It is now fallen away behind us. There are no contacts on the scope. Computer, very well. Plot a new course. Oh, well, we could go to Tangaroa. In the Pecan system, locate and interact with the data panel, then return to Tangaroa. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll head back first to HIP 493 if we're going to do that mission. What was it you were saying? Tangaroa sells the Type 9, right?
I don't think so.
Well,
There are stations. There are neighboring systems that have stations that sell it. You just gotta find them. I'm not sure off the top of my head which one does.
well, it was one of the ones I was in last night. I checked and it was right there. Maybe it was Piscium 109.
That's very, very possible. That station seems to have a lot.
Because you said right away, and you were right, that there was one for sale there. I was skeptical. Inbound Python on scope. We'll be out of here in a moment. Yeah, go back to HIP 493, please. Galaxy map on the screen. HIP 493. Course laid in.
A lot of internal security roaming around Savika and Asylum. More so than normal. There's 6 internal security ships right now. 4 of them are fighters. 2 Vipers. So these are just the little guys.
Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Warning. Temperature critical. Ring shift drive charging.
What are you doing right now?
I'm just scrolling through to see if I can find any missions here at Asylum before I take off.
What the hell? It says I'm wanted in my home system. I don't know why. Say that again?
I'm at Asylum scrolling through the mission board to see if I can find any good missions.
Oh, okay. Well, I may be out of here in a big hurry. It says I'm wanted in my own system.
Back at Wolf 592 or whatever it was.
HIP 493.
I bet they want to do a lot of massacring.
Well, you know, you never have too many dead people. And some people die.
Well, we'll give you $1 million to go shoot down 70 of our enemy ships. I don't have 3 months to sit here and shoot down ships.
Okay, I'm going to sneak in here because I'm wanted. Granted.
Set down on landing pad 30.
Here we go.
Please reduce your speed, Commander.
Oh, God.
Automated docking approved.
I snuck in successfully, no scan. However, it will be anonymous access for me, and hopefully there's a ability to pay off the bounty I'd owed.
Welcome to the Starport Starport. Check the wide array of services we offer and enjoy
Contact. Commence system shutdown.
At least the new options you get for going through to find what import and exported profits are, whatever. When you filter them all like that, you can get an idea of extra shit you can haul along with you when you make a run and make profits.
3.032 million. Well, this blows chunks. I can't deactivate the anonymity protocols. I'll have to go to the next system over, 495, in order to get rid of these stupid fines first. Launching. Course laid in.
To keep the traffic flowing smoothly, please follow standard operating procedures and request docking permission before entering the starport.
Frameshift drive charging.
We have our 65 million, so we can definitely go buy that ship now. If I sell my Dolphin, I should have enough for some parts. I'll have to find out how much I can get for the Dolphin. But first, we'll dock with this station, which we're 15 seconds away from docking with, and then I'll pay off my bounty and go straight back to where I was. I overshot the station again.
Brake pedal on this boat isn't very big.
Now 25 seconds from dock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are on target.
Docking request granted.
Docking request has been granted.
Landing gear deployed.
And we are docked.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Accessing contacts and interstellar factors. $1,500 credit bounty paid. Launching.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
0.35 light years. Fuel use is 0. No bounty. .692 light seconds to Okorafor Station. .30 seconds to max Q. Hail Hydra.
I think I'm gonna, ouch, head back to Tan Girl, then I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Lacey Tango Romeo India. Conflict established. Please approach the station at a safe speed and give way to larger vessels, Commander.
Flight assist
Request
off.
approved. Set down on landing pad 3-5.
Flight assist on. Scan
1,000 meters
detected.
from touchdown. Automated docking approved.
Landing gear deployed.
Access to docking facilities requires flight control authorization. Please submit requests.
Touchdown confirmed. Landing ground crew.
Are constantly being updated. Remember to visit every time you activate the system.
We get 7 million credits for selling the Dolphin. Oh dear me. It only costs 1 million to buy the stupid thing.
Welcome to this starport. Check the wide array of services we offer and enjoy your stay at our facilities.
Well, what are you doing now?
And what?
What are you doing now?
I am gonna dock in Asylum here shortly.
And then what?
I think I'm going to bed.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a good idea, probably. I should do the same thing. I didn't plan to play for very long right now.
You don't plan to play for long, you never log on. Always find something else to do to keep playing.
We have sold the Dolphin. Now it's 72,746,533. And we will also switch to the Diamondback Explorer so we can quickly travel to a system with the freighter class vessel, which I believe we will find in Piscium 109, or sorry, 106. If not there, then we will look up another location. I cannot store this ship for some reason. I have to probably lose some cargo. Checking inventory. We have 5 tons of worthless garbage that we're going to sell right now. We sold some water that we picked up. We didn't do too badly on that one. Hydrogen fuel and food cartridges. Restock. Python is in storage. Diamondback Explorer.
Facility and wish a safe journey to all departures.
Where the hell are we going? Kangaroo 109 Biskim. There it is. Two jumps.
Cooperation.
Ship detach complete. Watch for oncoming traffic when passing through the airlock.
Traveling to NLTT 5369,
Drive charging.
45.1 light years. Preparing to jump to NLTT 5369, Star Class M, Red Dwarf Star.
Shift drive charging.
Looking where we were last night.
Okay.
109 Piscium 1, I'm near the planet's rings. Parabolic course laid in around 109 Piscium A. Headed for Ising Dock. Two craft look like they might follow, but they have been detained by the star. (109 Piscium A). Now 1 minute 30 seconds away from target space of dock.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go to bed before I fall asleep in my uncomfortable chair.
Okay, have yourself a good night. We'll see you tomorrow in all likelihood. Righto, good night.
Flight assist off.
Landing permitted. Adjust heading for approach to badge 3-4.
Flight assist on. Landing gear deployed.
This is a flight regulations rally. Please do not obstruct the access corridor during arrival or departure.
Landing successful. Commence system shutdown.
order to keep bay traffic flowing smoothly, please follow standard operating procedures and request docking permission before entering the starport. This is a flight regulation announcement. Please proceed to dock on your assigned docking pad in a timely manner, and refrain from obstructing other docking areas.
Jesus jumping Christ. This thing has an actual bridge. And unless I'm mistaken, it has at least 3 decks. Probably 4. Of course, I can only see 3 of the 4 from this vantage point. There's an elevator here. Good God. No, I was wrong. It looks like there's 5 decks on this ship. Well, of course. 26 million credits for reinforced, 58 for military grade composite. You're kidding, right? $132. It's still 132. And thus you are christened the FNS Valoria. Actually, we'll take FNS. AR008. A terrorist carrier. Those are all for sale anyway. Explorer one way it is.
clear at all times. Thank you.
Detach confirmed. Departure authorized.
Landing gear retracted.
Holy shit.
For the safety of all visitors, be considerate of other vessels when passing through the main access corridor.
Request approved. Cleared for landing on docking bay 17. Automated docking approved. Maintain heading and slow to approach speed, Commander.
Enjoy your stay at our facilities. We advise that all commanders be aware of their speed while in and around the starport. Thank you for your cooperation. If you're unable to complete docking procedure within your time slot, you'll need to exit the bay and resubmit a docking request.
Christ. I mean, just look at it. It really is unbelievable.
In order to keep bay traffic flowing smoothly, please follow standard operating procedures and request docking permission before entering the starport. We would like to remind all commanders
That's 12% confirmed.
docking pads during arrival and departure. This is a flight regulations reminder. Please do not obstruct the access corridor during arrival or departure.
%.
We advise that all commanders be aware of their speed while in and around the starport. Thank you for your cooperation. We will be forced to respond to aggressive actions. For peace of mind, please stow ship weapons while inside the docking bay. If you're unable to complete docking procedure within your time slot, you'll need to exit the bay and resubmit a docking request.
Well, he better be here somewhere. I'm not searching the whole ship for him though.
Landing gear retracted.
Christ, this lumbering hulk.
Frameshift drive charging.
Copy that. I'll take care of the mothership, Commander. I'm not the target here.
Flight assist off.
Throttling down for retrieval, Commander.
Flight assist on. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Warning, taking heat damage. Warning, hull breach attack. Taking internal damage. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging. deployed. Target destroyed. Cannot comply. Cargo scoop retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Frameshift drive charging.
Alright everyone, looks like we finally made it here. Not entirely in one piece, but we're going to call it a night. We'll be back on tomorrow at some point. I've got a bit of database work I would like to finish, and yeah, so hopefully we get a chance to I overshot this again, only for about the 600th time. Thanks once again to Frontier Developments for creating Elite and maintaining it, and providing us with free updates. Much appreciated, although sometimes they are a little on the buggy side. At least we don't have to suffer too long. Tonight and other episodes of Commander Trium's video flight logs available on YouTube at bit.ly/apprefactoryvfl. That's bit.ly/app alpha papa re and factory. VFL, all is one word, of course. You can also find links to the YouTube site where these videos are maintained. At Commander Trium's blog site at Rodpress. That's at http://ross613.wordpress.com/elite. I'm afraid I'm not quite brave enough yet to try these space doors.
Flight assist off.
By myself, so we'll likely let the computer do the docking once we are in the appropriate position.
Flight assist.
And as was mentioned earlier, that'll be it for tonight. Thanks once again for watching. This is Commander Trium signing off. On the 25th March, 3304, 9/11/28 V Zulu at Okorafor Station in the Ross 493 star system. Good night, everyone.